Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening to you, sir. Welcome to the Tuesday After Dinner Show.
Hey, yes, welcome everybody. I'd like to remind everybody out there on whatever social media you're watching us on, please like and subscribe. And we're going to get right after it. Our guest this evening is Mr. Allan Misner. And in a way, his story could probably apply to a lot of us in our younger years. Was athletic, and as he got older, he was going to participate in some volleyball and got tired and found himself that he was out of shape, and he did something about that. And I read his story. It's pretty impressive. And without any further ado, we're gonna welcome Allan to the show, and he's going to tell us his story.
Hey
Welcome,
guys, how are you? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show, the Misfit Nation Tuesday After Dinner Show. And I gave just a little bit of what you're doing. Why don't you tell everyone how we got to where we are today?
Yeah, well, I think everyone that served in the military probably remembers the day they went into the MEPS and they're showing you all the videos. Back in my day, they showed us all these videos that you would have as career opportunities. I did pretty well on the ASVAB, so there were a lot of choices. But I said, okay, anything that says mechanic or engineer, just kill that right away. I don't want to do that. Sorry if that's your MOS, but that just didn't excite me after the schooling I had done. So I sat down and said, okay. So they end up with like three things. And when they finally showed me the video for infantry soldier, I was like, that's me. That's the guy I want to be in the military, running around, busting through things, playing football, rough housing, just doing those things. And so I signed up for infantry and went in, ended up at the 101st with one of the Ranger battalions. So everyone around me was this super elite athlete. And I wanted to be like them. So that's all I pretty much did. I just trained every single day, got myself in just the highest order of fitness that you could be in, I think, and got out of the military, went to college, but still made fitness a big part of my life. However, once I got into my career, I kind of got a new focus and I started focusing on that. I was very good at that, but that was a desk job with a lot of travel, which meant a lot of time eating at hotel bars, maybe having a drink or two or three, and not really realizing this long, slow slide. And so, yeah, I was very successful in my career. And I forced myself to take a vacation. It'd been like 4 years I'd not taken vacation. I'd watched my vacation roll off the edge of the table for 4 years straight. And I said, okay, I got to do something. So I took a week off and I went to this timeshare and I bought the timeshare the first day I showed up because I said, if I put money down, I'm going to show up. That was my main thing. And so I put the money down, but I was really excited to see volleyball on the placard for the things they were doing that day. So I went out there to play some volleyball. And I had to leave the court after one game and seriously was considering having them take me to the hospital because I really thought I was in dire straits. And so I recovered my breath and I didn't go to the hospital, but I sat there that whole week thinking about how terrible my body was, my health was, my fitness was, and how I wasn't the guy that I had been before. And so I decided I was going to change this. And over the course of the next 8 years, I tried and failed, tried and failed, tried again and failed, tried again and failed. And then I was having a conversation with my daughter, and anyone from the South will appreciate that a 20-year-old still calls her father daddy. But she said, Daddy, I want you to watch me do this CrossFit competition. So she had recently gotten into CrossFit and she'd become a level 1 instructor. So basically my fitness background, she was somewhat following in my footprints as a younger person. And it hit me in the gut when she said, I want you to come watch me, because I had never envisioned myself being a spectator in my daughter's life. I always wanted to be the participant. And so I said, well, this is just, I can't be this guy. I can't be the participant in my family's life. I can't be the spectator. I have to be the participant. Mm-hmm. So I made a commitment and I asked myself, I said, why am I able to do other hard things? My whole life I've done hard things. We all have. And then I realized what it was. Every hard thing that I'd ever done, I committed myself to, like 100% committed. There was no fail. You go into it and you're like, this is the mission. This is what I'm doing. And I'm 100% doing it. There is no, there is no off. There is no fail. And so that's how I approached this one. I said, okay, my daughter's doing these things and I want to do them with her. So I signed us up for a Tough Mudder, which is a 12 and a half, 13-mile mud run. So it's not just even a normal half marathon. It's in the mud, up hills, climbing, crawling. And just for fun, they throw in 25 obstacles, just to mix it up a little bit. I had no business signing up for that. I was not in that kind of shape. when I was in the air assault unit, I was the guy who demonstrated the obstacle course, that kept people from going to air assault school. I'd go show them how the obstacles worked. I was that kind of fit. I even remember one time I came in, they said, this guy's getting married and needs to go through it first on his own because he can't wait. So they had me show him how to do it. As soon as I finished doing the obstacle course, I had to do it again. So that's who I was, and I wasn't that guy anymore. But I signed up for the Tough Mudder, and I started training, and I started eating better, and I pretty much changed everything about my lifestyle. And over the course of the next 11 months, I lost 66 pounds of fat. I put on 11 pounds of muscle, and I completed that Tough Mudder with my level 1 CrossFit daughter, who was 25 years younger than me, without slowing her down, without her having to wait for me at all. And crossing the finish line with her, holding her hand, is kind of one of those magical moments in my life that I'm like, there are things that you do. You're like, nobody can ever take that moment away. That's one of the moments that lives in my heart.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
That's good. I got to ask real quick. You said you was on Fort Campbell. What brigade was you in?
I want to say the third 30 Deuce. It's been a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's the interesting thing was this. With regards to the military, I think I approached it wrong because I went in, even though we were not at a time of combat, I went in expecting combat. Not that I wanted it, but just I knew that if it happened, I'm the guy who's going to walk out. That's, so I took the training very seriously. I kept my head down. I worked so hard. But when I got out, I realized that I had a kind of a mindset that was very conducive to being in an infantry unit, but did not play well with other human beings outside. I was not a nice person. Let's just say that. And so I had to do a lot of wiping, if you will, of just saying, okay, those behaviors, those memories, those things, they're not my life right now. And It's time for me, to let go of, I'm not going to say let go of childish things, but let go of that for the sake of being someone else. And so I've always kind of had a skill set. I was a military brat myself. I've kind of always had a skill set of just clearing my mind of things and people and just moving on. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm probably telling everybody I'm a sociopath, but it is what it is. It's a survival mechanism that allows me to do some of the things I do. But it was a tough time only because I took it so serious. When I was in the military, I was 100% committed to that. I didn't do anything else but live, breathe, do that. Literally from 6 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, I was training.
I understand. I understand. Now, you was talking about getting back in shape. I retired out of the Army, and really, I do PT occasionally. I haven't ran since 2011. But
well, nobody's chasing you, huh?
Exactly. Nobody's chasing me. But what's some ways that you can find motivation? And you have some folks, like we'll take like a New Year's resolution. They're all motivated for it, and then after 2 weeks they're done. How do you keep that motivation, or how do you keep from getting the wrong type of motivation to get you into changing your lifestyle like that?
Okay. Well, the first one I want to talk about is, and the reason I said nobody's chasing you, that's a joke, but it's a reality. We need to be fit to be the humans that we want to be. Now, my grandfather loved golf. Loved it with a passion. He bought a house on a golf course. He played golf every day. At the age of 80, he had to stop playing golf. Now, I was in the golf cart with him. I went to visit, and usually he'd drop me off and go play golf with the guys. And there was one day he didn't. And I said, "You're not going to go play golf?" He said, "No, I can't play anymore." I said, "Well, what's going on?" He says, "Well, I've lost my balance. I can't swing the club anymore." And so a lot of people say, "Well, he's 80 years old. Okay, he's had his run." He lived for 15 more years. So the last 15 years of his life, he couldn't do the one thing he loved the most. He loved it. He loved it more than my grandmother. That's why they got divorced. But he couldn't play. Now, flash forward 10 years, he's 90, and he can't make it from the chair to the bathroom in time. And he can't clean himself up. So someone else has to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So another joke I tell people is, well, I want to be able to wipe my own butt when I'm 105. And some people giggle, but the reality of it is there's a lot of people in older age that can't take care of themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So as you start thinking about fitness, you don't, PT is great, but it's like the word workout or exercise. It doesn't sing to you. It's like, gee, I want to work out. No, but if you start thinking about, well, I want to have some mobility. I want to have some speed. I want to be able to take my grandkids to the zoo and not sit in the bench and wait till they come back. I want to keep up with them. They're running from the lions to the bears. I want to run with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to be a participant in their lives and not a spectator. So if you start looking at fitness as fit for task, meaning what do you need to do today and can you do it? What are you going to need to do tomorrow? And will you be able to do that? And so then now you're training. So you can think about the style of your life going forward of mobility and balance and strength and stamina and the things that you're going to need. And then when you do things to help you maintain that or improve that, it's now training. It's no longer this exercise or workout that you're doing or PT that has no fundamental meaning to you. It all has meaning. You want to be the person that can live the life you want to live. You want to be independent for as long as you can be independent. I want to be able to open my own pickle jars for the rest of my life. I love pickles. I want to be able to open the jars myself. Okay. Because the instant you can't do something for yourself, you're not independent anymore. Okay. So that's one thing. And then the other thing I wanted to get into with motivation is most people look at motivation wrong. Your New Year's resolution and that first day, boom, I got motivation. It showed up. It's like a magic show. This thing showed up for me. It's so wonderful. And then Tuesday gets here and it's like, not again. Where did it go? And so we're sitting there waiting for this magical force to show up. But that's not how motivation actually works. Motivation comes from doing. You have to do something first. So there's two styles of motivation. So the first one, what you think about is accountability. So if you were to hire a coach and the coach is going to be at the gym at 7:00, where are you going to be at 7:00? At the gym. Because the coach is going to be there. The coach is holding you accountable. So you go in and you do what the coach asks you to do because he's holding or she is holding you accountable. That's accountability at what I call leader coach level. You might join a group. So maybe some friends are going to start going for hikes in the park, or you're going to go for bike rides or something like that. And if your friends are going to show up for the run, show up for the ride, show up for whatever, the class, you're going to show up too. So that's group and peer accountability. So a lot of people think peer pressure is a bad thing. It just depends on the peers you pick. You can pick some good peers and have a lot of good peer pressure that helps hold you accountable. Now, the two on the accountability side, the leader, coach, and then the peer group, those are pretty easy. You just hire a person or you join a group and now you have that. It's not the strongest of things because you leave the coach and it's gone. You leave the group and it's gone. Okay. So what you want to work on is the other side, which is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is when you're the one making it happen all the time. And there are also two layers to that. So there's the leader level, which I call self-management. And this is when you realize, okay, I'm not packing my gym bag in the morning. And so because I'm not packing my gym bag right, I get to lunchtime and it's time for me to go do my workout. I don't have my shoes. I'm missing my socks. I'm missing a shirt or missing my shorts. So I skip my workout. So I need to put some strategies and tactics in place to make sure it's almost foolproof. So I get a laminated list. I pack it at night. I put the bag by the door so I have to step over it to leave that morning. I put it in my truck on the seat beside me, and I know it's there. So all those little strategies and tactics are a form of self-management, so that when lunchtime rolls around and it's time for me to go to the gym, I have everything I need right there. I have no excuses. Okay. Now, the other level, and this is the hardest but the most powerful, is when your habits and values begin to align with what you're doing. So remember, I talked about wanting to be a participant instead of a spectator. So this is where this starts to happen. I'm doing the work. It could be, okay, I'm going to do a couch to 5K. You start doing the walking and the jogging, and you do your first 5K and you enjoy it. You sign up for another one, and you find yourself a few months down the line calling yourself a runner. But what do runners do? Runners run.
Yeah.
Okay. You might go to the gym and lift, and you're in the gym every day lifting, and you start thinking of yourself as a weightlifter.
Mm-hmm.
And what do weightlifters do? They lift weights. So it's almost this automatic. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Your alarm goes off. You get up, put your clothes on, and you go do the thing that you do, because now you self-identify as that thing, that person. You have the values and the habits that person has. And so you see each quadrant of this whole, what I call a motivation map, has the accountability side, which can have multiple layers, and it has the self-efficacy side, which has multiple layers. And the more that you're in all 4 of those layers and pieces or quadrants, the more motivated you're going to be. But every single one of those came from doing. You hired the coach, you joined the group, you did the strategies and tactics that were necessary to keep doing the thing, and then through repetition, you adapted and adopted that identity, because you now have the habits and values of an individual. So the more you do, the more motivation you'll have. Sounds kind of backwards, but that's actually how it works.
Okay. We have a question. I'll put it up here. We've talked about the motivation and everything, but somebody had a question. It's from Google Chat, and thank you very much for your question. And they ask, as far as the losing weight portion, why is calorie counting the worst way to lose weight?
It is the worst way to lose weight. My career, where I sat on my butt and traveled a lot, I was an accountant. And so I love data. I do love data. I don't like collecting it, though. I especially don't like collecting it when it's not good. So here's a couple things. One is, you can look at food, and you can go try to Google what it is. You can look on MyFitnessPal, and they've got all these numbers. But the problem is, if I order a 12-ounce steak, and I'm going to assume it has a certain amount of fat, a certain amount of protein, the reference case that's there has that. But everyone knows there have been times that you've gotten a steak and said, that looks a little smaller than the 12-ounce steak the last time I was here, or this cut's a little fatter than the cut I had last time. Well, those little differences can mean the difference in a couple hundred calories. So everything you eat, even though you can say you're measuring and doing all the things, is still an estimate. It's not exact.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an estimate on how much I ate. And if I'm just basing it on what I think, I'm probably way off. Most people are, even nutritionists are way off in guessing how much they eat. So unless you're really meticulous, you're probably pretty far off. The other thing is, and I'll tell you this story, when I was trying to get myself in condition to do the Tough Mudder, sometimes the weather, sideways range, you guys was talking about earlier, sometimes you just don't want to be out in that stuff. So I was using elliptical machine as a way of training. And so I had a particular elliptical machine that I was using every day I went in, and I named her Bertha. Okay. And so Bertha and I had a thing, and I would walk in every day, and Bertha and I had a date, and we would do our date, and then I would leave sweaty. I walked in one day, and someone was on Bertha. Can you believe it? Okay. Okay. And so now if I put a solid hour in with Bertha, she told me I did 600 calories, but I couldn't be on Bertha that day. I had to choose a different elliptical. It's a different brand. And I got on that elliptical for the same hour, worked just as hard. And this elliptical told me I did 700 calories. So I like this elliptical a lot more than Bertha now.
Yes.
Now, the question is, did I really burn an additional 100 calories on this other elliptical, doing the same amount of work on just a different piece of equipment that was really very, very similar? And the answer is no, I did not. I might not even have burned 600. Okay. So if I'm going to take this estimate of calories I ate and compare it to an estimate of calories that I burned, and then try to think that that's exact math that I can base my whole life on and how I feel about myself and whether I think I'm in the calorie deficit or not, then it's a fool's game. And it's never a straight line. Our body responds to the food we eat by adjusting our metabolism. If we're getting good quality food, it will adjust the metabolism to the right level to allow us to burn fat. So the reality is, if you focus on the quality of your food, you'll tend to eat less. I don't know about you. I can scarf down a whole sleeve of Fig Newtons or a whole big bag of Doritos and be hungry 10 minutes later.
Yes.
But you slap down a nice spinach salad and a ribeye steak, the same number of calories, I just slam down, and I'm full for hours.
Yes.
Okay. And so calorie counting will not tell you that. If I'm giving my body the quality food, the nutrition that it needs, it's satiated and I'm not hungry.
You're adjusting your body. I went and I stopped drinking soda with sugar 3 months ago. And I started cutting out different things. For the longest time, I couldn't lose weight. I've lost about 13, 14 pounds.
Good.
And that's just from cutting out regular soda.
Yeah,
And
sugar.
cutting out, eating all the breads and stuff.
Yeah.
I go and get a sub in a tub instead of a sub. I'm not having the bread. I'm just having the tuna and the lettuce and the tomato, and it's better. I finally learned that, and I'll be 55 this month. So
congratulations.
It's about time I learned that.
Well, and I don't want to say carbohydrates are bad. So don't take that as the message, but I will say most of what we identify as carbohydrates are bad. So breads, rices, and processed stuff.
Well, I'm not saying I totally cut them out. I'm just saying I'm watching what I'm eating and just
bring it down.
Just dropping the sugar in soda, because I was drinking soda like it was water all day long. I'm drinking less, and I'm doing this, and I'm actually starting to lose weight again.
Right. But the point being is those simple carbohydrates leave you hungry.
Right.
They do not do anything good for your body, but give you calories. So yes, if you were starving and that was all you had, eat a Twinkie, drink a soda, but we're not. We have this abundance of food, and unfortunately we spend our time still eating the Twinkie and drinking the sodas when we should be having a salad and a steak. Have good quality real food, and your body will feel fuller, and you'll actually end up eating less.
All right. And you brought something up that I want to hit again, is the processed food. I'm guilty of it. I'm sure a lot of folks are. I'm trying to get out of that. And not only does it help you keep the weight on, I feel better if I don't eat all that. So that's one thing I will take out of that. Touching back on what you was talking about earlier as well, you was talking about not wanting to get old and having to have somebody take care of you. I mentioned to some older friends of mine, I didn't know this, but I guess one of the main criteria for admission into a nursing home is whether or not you can get yourself up off the toilet.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
that's my goal. is when I'm 90, 95, however long
Yes.
I stay around on this rock, I want to be able to sit down and stand up myself. I don't want anybody to have to help me with that. And just like you said, that right there is should be motivation enough.
And here's one of the things. Okay, that movement, getting up and down off of a stool, off of a toilet, is a squat.
Yes.
So I have so many people who come train with me and say, I've got bad knees, I can't squat. I'm like, you do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a woman, you're doing it multiple times a day. You just don't call it a squat. You call it what you need to do, which is go to the bathroom and get back up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all a squat is. Another thing to really work on is being able to get down and off the floor. If you were to trip and fall, if you were to slip, if you live in a colder climate, it gets icy, or you were just to stumble because you have a balance problem, you might hit the ground and not actually physically hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not capable of getting back up, that could be a very dangerous situation if you're by yourself. Okay. So just the practice. And I've done this with some clients. It's as simple as get down on the floor and get back up. And then catch your breath if you need to, and then do it again.
Okay.
You can make it more complicated than that if you want to, but from a general perspective, just doing reps of that can be quite the workout. And so, the core of it is start where you are. I had one client, she got winded walking to her car in the morning. She's like, I'm just walking to the carport to get my car. And she's like, I'm having trouble breathing. I'm just, she's like, I'm exhausted walking to my car. So I told her, I said, well, okay, tomorrow when you walk to your car, do one lap around the car.
Okay.
And then you can get in the car and drive to work. And so she did that one lap, and she said it felt kind of silly, but she did the lap, and she said it was harder. And then she did it again, and she said, okay, it's getting easier. I said, okay, and I'll do 2. And within about 3 weeks, she was walking around the neighborhood with, because again, it was your body will respond. It's one of the coolest things about the human body. We haven't built anything like this, but the human body can actually repair itself and improve itself if we give it what it needs. If we move it so that there's a little bit of a stressor, so a stimulus, and then we feed it and rest it, it will get stronger. It will get better. If we move it and rest it, it will build stamina. It will get better. It's just this amazing thing that the human body can improve itself if you do the right things for it.
Okay.
I was just having this conversation with my father the other day. For Easter, for years, he would make Italian meat pie, pizzagini. Last year he didn't do it. This year, Dad, you going to make it? No, my hands aren't working. He's 84 years old. I'm like, well, I'm going to go buy you weights for your hands. And when you're sitting on the couch and you're doing things, you can move your hands with the weights in it. Start building up those muscles again. I'm like, you can't just say, my hands don't work, my arms hurt. You need to start doing something to change that. You're not getting younger.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me. I'm like, no, we got to do that. We got to start making that movement, getting that blood flowing, everything.
Well,
so you don't have to say my hands don't work and my arms hurt.
And what he's on is an aging curve. We're all on this aging curve. We all have our own aging curve. The cool thing is you can decide how fast you go down that. So right now he could be struggling with making the meat pies. But there are worse things down that aging curve if he doesn't get control of his hands and he's not able to manipulate things. So I talked about he couldn't open a pickle jar right now. Probably he might not want to, but he's going to want to do some other things. And not being able to do that, he's going to need help, and he's not going to be independent.
Got another conversation with him.
Got another
Send
question.
my way. I'll have that conversation with him.
And we're going to segue right into that. We got a question from Mark from X. You have a great program. Thanks for setting people up for success. Do you think an online coach is a good option as I enter my late 40s to keep me on track?
I do. And a lot of people will like to do things with an in-person coach. But unfortunately, what happens is most of the people you meet, and I don't mean any bad will, this is just how the industry works. At the gym, their job is to do the hour and send you home, or half hour and send you home. They're not really vested in the outcome. So it's a little different with an online coach. We tend to look at it more holistically. Our objective is to get you where you want to be. We can't be there in the gym with you. We can do just about everything that they do and more. I don't count reps, and I don't help you load the plates. So beyond that, I'm pretty much able to do everything that he can in the gym. Now, one of the reasons that I got into this was when I was trying to fix myself, there were no online coaches. None. There was no one focused on the over 40. And that's why I started 40 Plus Fitness podcast, because I was like, this is kind of crazy. They weren't even writing books. There weren't even books on this topic back then. If you got a book about anything over the age of 40, it was usually about stretching for 55 plus. They might do some chair yoga or something like that. The expectation was we're just going to get old fast and die, And I was like, no, that's unacceptable. So I decided to start the podcast, and I decided to start coaching people online. And the reality is, yes, when you're over 40, you do need something different. You can't do the things the way you did them when you were younger. If you go into a standard gym, they're going to pull out one of two workouts, typically. The first workout they pull out is the one for the 20-year-olds that everybody does. Mm-hmm. Or the other one is the one they do where the guy's standing on the balance ball on one foot, and he's lifting his arm with the other, with a dumbbell in it, a 3-pound dumbbell. And that's necessary for some people, but the reality is that's not necessary for most of us. Most of us have some basic fitness level, and we got to find somebody that'll train us where we are. And most of the trainers aren't equipped to do that. So an online personal trainer that focuses on this demographic, that just works with you, is going to be able to bring a lot of value. A lot of clients come to me wanting to lose weight, but they also want to get stronger. And so many times they want to lose weight and they go to the wrong trainer and they break themselves. And I wanted to make sure that I could help people not break themselves, because we don't come back from injury nearly as fast as we did when we were in our 20s. I broke 2 ribs when I was in my 20s, and I was back out there playing tackle football in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Broke a rib about 3 months ago, and if I sneeze real hard right now, I still feel it. So we don't recover the way we did back then. So it's in our best interest to not break ourselves in the first place, and a good trainer can help you do that.
Okay. Got a lot of questions tonight. Alex, he's listening on About Face Radio. How do I get the heck out of my own way? I start to work out, pain sets in, and I run away. Help me.
Okay. The core of it is pain. Pain is good. And I don't mean that from a no pain, no gain perspective, but pain is communication. And you want to have that kind of communication with your body. If the things you're doing are hurting, you have to evaluate, is this a good hurt or a bad hurt? So some muscle burning, some general pain in the muscle, particularly the day after or 2 days after, that's not bad hurt. That can actually be okay if you can tolerate it. If it's a joint pain, then there might be a problem, and we want to evaluate it. So listen to the pain, but realize most of the pain that people feel is not bad pain. It's just, you're working, and it will go away as your body improves and gets stronger. That could go away. But the core of it is, when you start a program, just start silly slow. Just 5-pound dumbbells, and you could do 10, just do 5, and then do gentle nudges. I call it gentle nudges for a reason, is that our body can recover from hard work, as long as we don't go to an extreme. So I'll tell you a story about extreme. I was traveling all the time, and I was trying to figure out what to do. This was before I actually changed. This is during that 8 years of try and fail, try and fail. Well, they used to have these infomercials. Do they still have infomercials on Sunday? I don't even know anymore. I haven't been in the States in 5 years, but they have these infomercials. Okay, so they have infomercials, and the infomercial was about Insanity Workout from Beachbody. And so Shaun T's doing this workout, and it's no equipment. They're bouncing around. Everybody looks happy and fit. I'm like, I can do that in a hotel room if I had to. So I got the DVDs. I bought them, and I ripped every one of them to my iPad, and I was all ready to go. And so I'm like, I'm going to do the benchmark workout, and then I hit the road on Monday. So this was Thursday. I did the benchmark workout. And the next morning I woke up, I felt like someone had beat me with baseball bats while I was asleep. It hurt to reach my phone to dial into work because I had to call off sick. I couldn't get out of bed. Okay. And this was just the benchmark test. This was not even a workout. So yes, we can overdo it, and we should avoid that. So start where you are and gentle nudges up. So learn a movement, do the movement, and then slowly add load to that work. And that's how you can get yourself going. So don't feel like you have to do a certain amount of work the first time, the second time, the third time. Just do a little bit more than you did before, just those gentle nudges.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan.
A question I have, we are inundated in all the commercials, and I know you say that you don't see many, but of pills to help this, pills to help all the vitamin, the fruit and vegetable pills and all this different stuff. Is there anything behind that, or is it mostly all just snake oil?
There is a time for supplements. There are times for supplements when you are not able to get what you need from food. You need a supplement. But we live in a world of food abundance. I mean, there's no lack of food around us. It's choices of food. And so a lot of people want to use these as some bridge or something. And the reality is most of us don't need any of that. And it's very expensive pee is what you're buying.
Yes.
If you live in yeah, it's like a lightsaber. But if you live in a northern climate during the winter, you might not be getting enough sunshine. Your vitamin D might be low. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you might not be getting enough B12, and you might be low. And so there are blood tests that you can do to determine if your vitamin D is low, if your vitamin B12 is low, your iron is low, those types of things. If you're concerned about your nutrition, that you're not getting an adequate variety of foods and eating real food and not the packaged stuff, then it's better to get the blood test and find out. And then, yes, if you do need a supplement, go with a reputable, high level tested supplement. They're going to cost a little bit more, but you're not taking all the supplements. So in the end, you're probably still spending a lot less than saying, well, I'm going to take this safer rather than sorry. If you didn't need it, it's just expensive pee.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have our producer throw your web address up on the banner there so folks know how to contact you. And while he's doing that, what's to you, and I know we covered a lot of things, to get started and to get doing this, what's the 3 biggest thing and that we can use to get started? And before we do that, I had another question come in.
Okay.
Our founder and producer this evening has alpha-gal, and he's allergic to peanuts and all seafood. what can he do besides eat chicken?
You know, I like beef. If it's a good sourced beef,
Well, yeah, but he can't do that with the alpha gal he has.
okay, so yeah, I'm not familiar with alpha gal, to be
You
honest.
can have no red meat. It
No
comes
red
from
meat.
it comes from a tick bite.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I guess I'm not from. I've never heard of that, but okay. Okay. So realize that, yeah, chicken's going to be a source, and of course you can't do if you can do other legumes, you can get some protein from beans, and you can, if you need to supplement. I would look at the vegan style supplements that have a mix of rice and pea. Don't just go with one or the other, because they're not a complete protein without the other. But when they mix the rice with the pea, you can get adequate protein there. You might like other fowl, like turkey, duck, if that's available. And then if you can tolerate eggs, that's another source that you could look to.
Okay. All right.
So you want me to answer your other question?
Yeah. My other questions. I'm going to get started. Or whoever is going to get started.
Well,
what's the first three things we need to do?
Well, Jake, you're going to get started. Okay, that's what.
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay.
You have to want to start. That's
you're going to. The first is your why. Yeah, why? What do you want? Like I realized I was not who I needed to be for my daughter in her life, and the potential outcome of grandchildren and whatnot, and my ability to be a participant in life. I don't want to be sitting in a rocking chair when my granddaughter's on the floor playing. I'm going to be the grandfather on the floor playing with her and enjoying it. Okay. So why do you want to do this in the first place? Because if you don't have the compelling why, you won't do it. Okay. The second one is, I talked about how to get motivation. The easiest way is accountability. Mm-hmm. So I'd say if you're struggling with motivation, find your accountability, hire a coach, get into a group, find your mojo, whatever it is. So you can find, and there's tons and tons of opportunity groups out there. So it could be a biking group. It could be a class. It could be, you can start taking martial arts, anything that's getting you moving and feeling good, join a group, hire a coach to make that happen. And then the third one is feed your mind feed your whole body with information. So food's information. If you're giving it good food, it's good information. If you're eating well, you're giving body good information. If you're moving your body well, you're giving your body information that everything's good. If you're sleeping well, if you're lowering your stress, all these are inputs into our body. And so we have to defend our body against things that are not good for us. Mm-hmm. So, and that's even sometimes ourselves, that inner beast that says, you idiot, why did you do that? Like, we never talk to our friends that way. If a friend told me and said, hey, I'm trying to lose some weight, and I see him sitting there scarfing down a piece of cake, I'm not going to walk over there and say the words to him that I would say to myself after I ate that cake. So be kind to yourself, think about it. And so as you're looking to eat something, think about it. Does this serve me? If you're thinking about avoiding an exercise or doing your workout or, training, does this really serve me? Doing this rather than that. Now, sometimes it does. So if a friend calls me and says, man, I'm going through something really rough, can we sit down and have a couple beers and talk this through? Well, beers might not have been on my plan for the evening, but my friend needs me, and that relationship's important to me. So yes, it's worth the juice. The squeeze is worth the juice. Okay. I'm going to do that. Okay. And so it's just finding that balance where you're feeding your body and being kind to yourself. So have a good why is of course the core. Mm-hmm. And it just flows down from there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Not getting any more questions out here. Steven, you got anything?
Oh no, I'm good. I got a lot out of this tonight. That's very good.
I did too. I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. So get out there and start getting after it.
Always time. You always have time. That's the beautiful thing about the human body.
Yes.
If you treat it right, it will heal and it will get better. So do that.
Yes, it will. Well, Alan, it was great having you on. If you don't mind, if you hang out in the green room for a couple minutes, I got some things I want to talk to you about. And
Sure.
We'll go ahead and get this closed out.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. We'll see you in a minute.
Have a good night.
Good night.
For every veteran, there is a story about a calling to serve, to fight for the freedoms of the American people. And every story has a struggle, a sacrifice, and invisible wounds. Warrior Watts programs help veterans recover from PTSD and invisible wounds through exercise, nutrition, and connecting with other veteran leaders. It is estimated that 22 veterans die each day by suicide, and another 30 veterans die each day by substance abuse. These are preventable deaths. Warrior Watt is committed to fighting PTSD through fitness, nutrition, and community.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.